Hi there, readers. Today's lesson is retelling stories. Readers, sometimes I watch a TV show called Grey's Anatomy. At the start of it, there's a narrator who says, previously on Grey's Anatomy, and then the narrator retells past shows. And we are shown clips of key moments from the beginning. Even when I haven't missed a single show, that recap that previously on part helps me get oriented so that I'm ready for the new episode. I'm telling you this because retelling or rethinking is an important part of reading. Retelling gives you a chance to gather your thoughts and to check whether you are understanding all of the story. So today, I want to teach you that readers often retell books up to the part where they're reading as a way to lay the story out for themselves so they can read on, thinking about how the new part fits with the old. When you recall what has already happened in a story before you read on, you are more apt to think about how new parts of the story fit with earlier parts. Let me show you what I mean. So, I went into Mrs. Modricker's room to talk about Stone Fox, and she told me she hadn't read it before. So I wanted to tell her the gist of the story so that maybe she'll be able to understand and talk with me about the story. One way to retell a story is to start at the very beginning and then take big steps across the whole of the story so far, only telling the most important parts. I'll start my retelling by going back to the beginning of the book. Little Willie and his dog, Searchlight, can't wake up Grandfather. Now I'm going to jump over some of the details until I get to the next big part. Little Willie gets Doc Smith, who tells him his grandfather doesn't want to live anymore. You can see I'm skipping over a bunch of tiny details, instead focusing on the important events, the ones that will get my partner up to speed on the book. Despite Doc Smith's protest, Little Willie decides to run the farm and do the harvest on his own. When he is preparing for the harvest, Little Willie discovers that they are broke and owe $500 in taxes. Everyone he talks to thinks he should sell the farm. But Little Willie is determined to save the farm. After following a few leads that don't help, he enters a dog sled race to win the $500 in prize money. Readers, did you notice how I retold the timeline of the story? Moving in big steps through the sequence of big events, I quickly covered the whole terrain of what we've read so far in Stone Fox. I only retold the most important parts. I left out a lot of the tiny details. So now I've gotten Mrs. Modriger up to speed on what's happened in the book. Plus, I've given myself one of those previously on recaps. And now I'm ready to dive back into the book, see what happens next, with what already happened fresh in my mind. So readers, I hope you remember that to truly understand what you're reading, it helps to take a moment to review what has already happened before reading on, to construct a previously in rendition of what you've already read. That way, as you do read on, you can be thinking, oh yes, this new part connects back to what's already happened. You don't need to do a retelling every single time you open a book, but if you have been away from a book for a while, if for some reason you didn't read for a day or two, and you want to reorient yourself to the book, give yourself time for a quick retelling. Constructing a previously in will get your brain turned on high and ready for reading further in the book. This is just one more way that readers can understand a story.